Bing tells Xiao Fang to stay put and guard the civilians while she goes and checks up on the situation. But he refuses. This time, he won't let her go off on her own again. Meanwhile, back with Soon, the thug asks if the loud girl with the still swollen face is his classmate. If that's the case, then this is his opportunity to be a hero and save the beauty. All he has to do is kneel down and beg, and the girl will be let go. Sachin takes a moment to think about the offer, and the snobby girl yells at him to hurry up and kneel down to save her. It's not impossible, but there's just one problem. Fang Qing doesn't even wait for him to say what the problem is, and starts desperately asking why he won't be able to save her. He just said he will save her after all, and it won't be impossible. How could he go back on his word when he's a man? Sachin tells her that he is definitely a man, but he's not worthy of saving her. Instead of him saving her, he can help her contact those foreign gentlemen she keeps boasting about, to see if they're willing to save her. That explains why he's so reluctant to help her. It's because she called him inferior. So he's taking revenge on her by doing this. Well, if he thinks that she'll apologize and beg him to save her, then he is completely wrong. According to her, she doesn't even need him to save her. Sachin laughs and points out the huge horde of zombies rushing toward her from behind the truck. Hopefully, she won't regret her own words in a moment. Fang Qing nervously glances at the zombies that she forgot about in her anger. In her last moments, as the zombies gripped her legs, she screamed for help and begged for Sachin to save her. It seems like she was wrong after all. As the zombies tear her apart, she screams at the top of her lungs for him to save her, but it's already too late. After the screams die down, the Bureau of Evolution officer laughs at how insane the situation was. It seems like Sachin truly is a terrible person who can't even help another in a dire situation. But that's alright, since he'll be joining her soon. Then he tells our protagonist that he will now show off the technology of the Federal Bureau of Evolution. He pulls out a jar of powder and rubs it on his face. All he has to do is apply this powder to himself, and monsters will obediently listen to anything he says. That's because the powder is actually the ashes of dead drought demons. Once anyone applies it to themselves, that makes the zombies think that that person is one of them. That causes the man to pause and take a look at the bowl in his hands in fear. It seems like he didn't even know that he had been rubbing his face in monster ashes. The man rushes to spit out any powder that might have gotten in his mouth, and he's disgusted by the thought that he had been rubbing monster powder on his body the entire time. Now he's mad, and he orders the monsters to tear him to shreds. They growl and rush at him with their claws out and their teeth bared. Sachin wastes no time and summons a pair of katanas from his personal storage, then rushes through the crowd of zombies, slicing them all into bits in less than a second. He finishes them off so fast that he's standing right in front of the truck before the man is even done coughing. The bureau official turns around and sees his opponent casually staring up at him. Looking completely unbothered, there were still several zombies swarming him from behind, and his two soldier allies arrived just in time to see him about to be surrounded. The bureau official orders the zombies to attack again, but none of the zombies move. Sachin pats the dust off his shirt and tells the man not to bother shouting. It's pointless, since no matter how much he screams his lungs off, the zombies won't do anything. The man from the bureau asks what he means by that, and his questions are answered as all the zombies spontaneously fall to pieces behind him all at once. The man has no idea how that was even possible. Sachin doesn't answer him and instead uses his power to teleport behind the man and grabs him by the neck. He never wanted anything to do with the Federal Bureau of Evolution, so he asks who exactly ordered the man to come and kill him. If he doesn't give up his master, then Sachin has no reason to spare his worthless life. Our protagonist pulls on the man's metal mask while smirking down at him. The man starts to scream as the pressure becomes too much for him to take, and in an instant, Sachin rips his head right off of his shoulders, with the bottom still connected to his spinal cord. Bang is shocked that he resolved the seemingly impossible situation in an instant. It's similar to before, and this sort of power is not something that can be achieved through training alone. This guy must be some kind of monster. Sachin is more frustrated by the fact that he had to use so much force against these small fries. From now on, he's going to have to show more restraint against people before things get troublesome for him. If only he had a capable assistant that he could work with, then everything would be easier. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Dana is startled awake by a sudden dream. Once again, she had a dream about Sachin, and she can't seem to get him out of her mind. Why hasn't he returned to her yet? A loud voice comes from outside the room, and she jumps in fear for a moment. Then she remembers Sachin's words about who he needs close to him. Whoever he keeps by his side must be useful to him, and if they are useless, then he will not take care of them. The remainder of Sachin's words motivates Dana to pick up a gun from the cupboard and face her fears head-on. She's determined to become his right-hand man no matter what, and to do that, she needs to be able to take care of herself. The former cook pushes her way into one of the study rooms in the suite, armed with 2 pistols and a mean poker face. Even with all that, though, there's no one in the room, despite the fact that she's sure the voices came from there. Another growl sounds behind her, and she turns around just in time to see that one of the drought demons had snuck up behind her. The zombie walks menacingly toward her and pushes her back against a table in the room. She has no idea where it came from or how it even got behind her, but there was nowhere for her to go now that she's been backed up to the table. Her only hope now is the gun that she swiped from the room before she stepped out to fight. Before she can use it, the drought demon slaps it out of her hand and sends it flying behind the table. Then it shrieks at her, opening its mouth wide to attack the former chef. With no other way to defend herself, she shuts her eyes and prepares for the worst. But luckily for her, the zombie misses his attack completely and instead bites into a chair beside her. She has no idea what's going on or what this guy is doing, but it seems like she's safe for now. He has been sniffing around this entire time, and it looks like the eyes on his face are gone. Maybe he actually can't see anything and he's relying on his sense of smell to find her. She somehow got lucky this time, but now he's way too close. If she makes any sound, he's going to attack her right away. She turns and notices that the gun is still on the table, just at the edge, away from her reach. She turns and tries to stealthily grab the gun while the zombie is still unaware of where she is. She stretches her hand just a little more, but the gun still stays out of her reach.